What up, everybody? Hope you're having a good Friday and a fun and eventful weekend coming up for everybody watching today's show. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. The first and maybe even the second wave of NFL free agency has come and gone, but I think the Giants are still going to make a couple moves because they really have a couple of positions of need that they still need to address. Don't have a bunch of cap space left, so I assume the rest of the signings the Giants will make will be closer to the veteran minimum, probably 1-year deal, veteran minimum, maybe a little bit of sugar sprinkled onto that with some incentives. So on today's show, we're going to take a look at the 3 biggest positions of need, in my opinion, for the Giants, and guys they could actually sign. Not the best guys at the position, but guys that fit their budget, make some sense, and have some ties maybe to this organization. But first, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because if the Giants make a move, we make a video. We've been doing it all off-season long. Every Giants signing has equaled a video on this channel, and that's why we are growing like crazy. We just crossed 26,000 subs, and we're already almost a third of the way to 27,000. We're doing it for Brandon Jacobs. Sub to the channel, Giants videos every day. When you talk about the biggest needs for the New York Giants, I think there are 3 that are still glaring, and I think the 2 right here are the most important needs they have to fill. They don't have a starting center on the roster. With Nick Gates going to Washington and John Feliciano signing a 1-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers, you need a center. I think you also need an edge rusher to beef up that pass rush. Outside of Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari, you don't have anybody proven in the NFL that can get to the passer out that lines up outside really of the tackle box. I think middle linebacker could still use some juice. I love the Bobby Okereke signing. I like Jarrad Davis, but really after that, you're really relying on a bunch of guys that haven't played in the NFL before. If I had to say what the 4th need was, it would be corner, but I don't think the Giants need any more depth pieces at the cornerback spot. I think they need a number 2 corner, and I'm not sure that guy's out there in free agency. So let's start with the center position. There are 4 guys that I think the Giants could go out and look at. Connor McGovern played for the New York Jets last year. He's 29 years old. Ben Jones, probably the most talented guy on this list, but he's 33 and he missed 4 games last year due to concussions. Sam Mustipher, not that good of a player, to be honest with you. He started 30-plus games in his NFL career, so he has some starting experience. And I think he could be a guy the Giants could look to sign if they have plans to draft a center early on in the NFL draft, and he kind of be their mentor, and they kind of slide in the rookie as Mustipher slides out. Then J.C. Hassenauer. I know I'm saying that name wrong, so I apologize, but I know that he went on a free agent visit with the New York Giants. We're not going to show his stats because he didn't really play that much for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, but when you look at what these 3 guys, McGovern, Jones, and Mustipher, did in the 2022 campaign, they all ranked somewhat highly on the PFF scale. Connor McGovern was ranked the 10th best center last year. Ben Jones was ranked the 8th best center, and Sam Mustipher was ranked 18th. Kind of some transparency to compare. John Feliciano was ranked the 31st center by Pro Football Focus. McGovern gave up just 5 sacks. Ben Jones won. He's probably the most talented, like I said, but the oldest and a guy that has some injury concerns. I'd go Jones, McGovern, and Mustipher. I would sign McGovern, though, as my number 1 guy. Really, you just got to improve the center spot, because right now, you really don't even have a center. If the season started today, Ben Bredesen would be your starting center, but he's more of a left guard, and that's where I think Joshua Azudu is actually going to start this year. But look, you have backups at the left guard, left tackle, right guard, right tackle, but you don't have any depth at the center spot. I believe the Giants will sign at least 1 center in free agency, and I believe they will draft one early on in the draft. I need another interior offensive lineman on this team. I need another center. We got to improve the offensive line. If you're with me and you want the Giants to sign a center, go ahead and like this video. Hit that thumbs up icon. Let's speak it into existence. Maybe Joe Shane's watching the channel. Joey, sign a center. Let's beef up that interior line. Before we get to the linebackers and the edge rushers the Giants could sign, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Fume. Go to tryfume.com/chatsports and use code chatsports to get 10% off the Journey Pack today. That link's in the comments and description of today's show. Our sponsor, Fume, is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from the bad habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. I didn't expect much out of Fume when I got it, but the flavors that come in the Journey Pack are unique and they are awesome. That includes crisp mint, maple pepper, and white cranberry. Remember, use code CHATSPORTS to get 10% off the Journey Pack today. That's tryfume.com/chatsports. Fume is not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habit. The easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one, and Fume is designed perfectly to do just that. Head to tryfume.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com/chatsports. And remember, use code CHATSPORTS for 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That link's in the comments and description of today's show. Let's transition to the edge free agent targets. I think the Giants need to beef up their edge rushing powers, and we'll show the depth chart in a second. And the way that I ordered these top four guys were that Rasheem Green, all these guys I don't think are going to sign for a lot of money. Green is the youngest, and he's really still has the most area to improve. He's been pretty good the last couple of years. Robert Quinn, we know he had that 18.5 sack season 2 years ago for the Chicago Bears. Then you're looking at a guy like Melvin Ingram, who's been pretty good the past couple of years as well, specifically last year. And then what about bringing back a familiar face in Jason Pierre-Paul? Let's take a deeper look at these guys. When you look at Rasheem Green, you might say, well, he only had 3.5 sacks. Well, he's 25 years old, and the year before last, as in 2021, he had 6.5 sacks. Then in 2019, he had 4 sacks. So that's a cheap, young edge rotational player that's had some success in the sack department. Robert Quinn, he's getting older, only had 1 sack last year, but like we said, 18.5 sacks the year before, so maybe you want to take a flyer on a vet. Melvin Ingram had 6 sacks last year. I think he still has some juice to give to this league, and I think he could be a good veteran piece behind Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau. And if you want to blast from the past, Jason Pierre-Paul. I can't believe I said blast with Jason Pierre-Paul and his fingers. Wow, that was not on purpose. JPP, you're my guy, man. I appreciate you. Oh wow, that was bad. Some top free agent pass rushers that are probably out of the Giants' price range include Yannick Ngakoue, Leonard Floyd, Frank Clark, Jadeveon Clowney, Calais Campbell, Shaq Lawson, Bud Dupree, and Justin Houston. Justin Houston is a guy I'm also keeping my eye on. I think he had like 9 sacks last year for the Baltimore Ravens. Bud Dupree, maybe he comes at a cheap cost. I definitely keep my eye on Calais Campbell as well due to his ties with Wink Martindale and the Baltimore Ravens. And I think there might be a little juice still to squeeze on the A'Shawn Robinson front. Not an edge rusher, but definitely could beef up these DTs. I mean, look at it. Your backup edge rushers are Ryder Anderson, Ellerson Smith, and Tom and Fox. Got to get better in that department. So I want you guys to name a pass rusher you want the Giants to sign. They got to get more explosive in that department. Maybe they look at JPP. Let me know what you think. Name a pass rusher you want the Giants to sign down in the comment section. Having a little fun here on a Friday. Some linebacker free agents. Coop, you've got my producers laughing in my ear. You've got to stop. Some linebacker free agent targets. Zach Cunningham, 28 years old. Deion Jones, 28. Myles Jack, 27. And then if you're looking for a vet like Kyle Van Noy, that's really still a good pass rusher and could play the inside linebacker spot, that'd be a guy that could be of interest. These guys may be a little bit more expensive, but I think you could get maybe a Cunningham or a Van Noy on a cheap deal. I think Jones maybe goes for $2 or $3 million. Jack maybe 4 or 5. But when you look at the numbers, Myles Jack was really good last year. 100 tackles. You don't really need a starting linebacker. I think Van Noy could make some sense as a veteran piece to help out this young linebacker core. He had 5 sacks last year, and I think in a Wink Martindale defense, he could really shine and be a guy that gets a boost from the scheme and get after the passer. We know Wink likes to get after the passer. I'm a big fan of Deion Jones, sideline to sideline speed. One time, or a former Pro Bowler, 100 tackles in like 4 or 5 straight seasons with the Atlanta Falcons. I still think he's got some gas. I just don't know if he's going to fit the Giants' price range. You do need another inside linebacker. Not to start, because I think Gerard Davis and Bobby Okereke are going to be your starters. But after that, you don't really have a whole bunch of proven talent behind them. Carter Coughlin really hasn't proved much. Darian Beavers, I like what I saw from him last year, but he's coming off a torn ACL, second-year player. Cam Brown, special teams player, and McFadden. Well, he got some love in college. PFF ranked him, I believe, as one of the best linebackers in the 2022 NFL draft, but you didn't really see that from last year. Maybe he gets some playing time this year and can fill that void. Is there a linebacker, though, that you want the Giants to sign? I'd be cool with Deion Jones. I'd be cool with Van Noy, Myles Jack as well. You're going to have to get a cheap guy and a veteran guy. Maybe you look at Landon Collins yet again, or Jalen Smith, or you try to bring one of those guys back. I do think they will sign another linebacker. If there's one out there that you're interested in, give me a name, and I'll do some research on him. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to today's show. Couple of laughs. We like to have some fun here on the channel, inform and entertain. That's what we do. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Go G-Men, and we'll see you later.